All right, gang, I'm going to do another update. It's road update for April 10th, 2020. I'm actually in my driveway now because I just got off the road. I fueled up and came home, and I'm about to go in, but I wanted to get this in. I mentioned yesterday a story about a Minnesota state senator. His last name is Nelson. Not sure what district he's from, but he was being interviewed by an anchorman out of Fargo, North Dakota, Valley News Live. And I think you can go to their website or whatever and see the video. Anyway, and what he was talking about is the fact that the legislature has not gotten, in Minnesota, they have not gotten the data that basically the governor has used to justify his increased or his extended COVID-19 stay-at-home rules, right? And I've had people tell me that they thought it was really, really irresponsible of this senator to just go take it to the press instead of taking it to the legislature. But wanted to cover a couple things here real quick because I want to document, first of all, that this is something that the governor had said in his update yesterday. Now, the senator had this interview like 3 days ago. Anyway, so I'm reading from WCCO, and this is from, let me get the date here for you so I have it, okay? It's April 9th. This is yesterday. It's titled, Walz Defends Extension of Stay-at-Home Order Amid Criticism from Republicans. And it goes down here and Walz is quoted here, right? He says he's basing decisions on data from numerous models. These are data points that they use to determine the spread of this virus and how it's going to impact everything and ultimately impact his decision to have people stay at home and basically shut down Minnesota. He says he's basing his decisions on data from numerous models, guidance from health experts, and the lead of other states. So he's looking at what other states are doing. He's quoted, "I'm tired of this. I'm frustrated by this." He said, "My heart breaks for the people worried about their economic well-being. But you can't get frustrated, go on a hunch, and throw caution to the wind and pretend like our neighbors' lives are somehow disposable. Because the health experts are telling me," and then he said, "information," end quote. So he goes on here, and he's talking about, he's being criticized, right, for possibly skewing these numbers, that these death certificates are being filled out, but the cause of death was never determined to be COVID-19. It was just they were writing it in. They might have died from pneumonia or whatever, but they were being told if there wasn't any underlying symptoms for something else, and you couldn't figure out what the cause of that was, they should write down COVID-19. And so what's he say here in his update yesterday? He says, Walz also said he was disappointed by disinformation. That's what he quoted it as, about death recording, asserting that CDC guidance is leading to an inflated number of deaths. Like, it's really disinformation that people are putting out there that this is really what's going on. Almost like the senator that received this letter coaching him to fill these death certificates out was lying, like he was a conspiracy theorist or something. And a journalist yesterday actually even tied that to Alex Jones, because Alex Jones reported on this story. So suddenly now the senator is a conspiracy theorist, right? So I want to, and people, like I said, have had a big problem with this senator taking this to the press instead of going through the proper channels, talking to the legislature about it, and maybe the governor, and looking at things that way, right? So I wanted to share one more thing with you, okay? And this is from NPR News. Now, NPR is Minnesota Public Radio. Okay? And this was aired, or it was written. It's an article. It's written on April 3rd. This is a week ago. So this is before the senator actually had this interview with this anchorman out of Fargo. And from NPR on April 3rd, the heading is "Change to Death Certificates Could Boost COVID-19 Counts." I'm going to read you a little bit about what's going on here. It says, with rare exceptions, unless there's a real rare exception, right? Minnesota officials have decided against postmortem testing to determine if undiagnosed people who died from severe respiratory problems were infected with COVID-19. So they decided against the postmortem testing, but then they want you to determine that it's COVID-19. They want you to write it on the death certificate. This has raised doubt about the accuracy of the fatality count, which officially stands at 22. That's what it was back then on the 3rd, a week ago. Stands at 22 in Minnesota. Infectious disease director Chris Arisman at the Minnesota Department of Health freely acknowledges it's probably not a true reflection of the coronavirus toll. When we're reporting deaths from COVID, we know there may be illnesses that aren't diagnosed. And he goes on, Arisman said in an interview Thursday, of deaths where a test hadn't been done, she said, we wouldn't necessarily count it in our data points because it's not confirmed, right? That would be normally. But new guidelines. This is the new guidelines that came out from the Department of Health, and they might have gotten it from the federal health department. I don't know. But new guidelines from here it is, from the National Center for Health Statistics, which Minnesota follows, will err on the side of pinning more deaths on COVID-19, at least provisionally. That's what they're going to do. They're going to err on the side of COVID-19. An alert issued Thursday instructs those who fill out death certificates to categorize pneumonia deaths that can't be traced to another underlying condition as presumptively COVID-19. Well, why would they trace it to another condition if they decided against doing post-mortem testing, like when they're already dead, right? Stephen Schwartz, director of the National Vital Statistics Division, wrote in the alert that pneumonia deaths may have previously been misclassified if a test hadn't been conducted prior to death. Increases in pneumonia deaths may be an indicator of excess COVID-19 related mortality, he concluded. So that's his conclusion, right? So what you have here is you have the government, or basically the industry, choosing to not do postmortem testing on people that had died with pneumonia, but then saying if they didn't have any other diagnoses or whatever of that death and they had pneumonia, we want you to label it as COVID-19. All right. So just so you know that none of this is BS, and that senator had every right to take this to the news because he's got a problem with the way the numbers are being skewed. How can any of this be accurate? And the only one passing off disinformation is the governor. Because the governor is saying, this is all disinformation, made to look like we're inflating numbers. And here we have it, NPR by themselves saying that's exactly what's going on. It's the National Department of Health Statistics or whatever it was. So there you have it, people. There's the goods. The smoking gun, maybe. I don't know. I'm going to put a couple links down on this video, and you can share them with whoever you want to get this, message out, because who knows how long this video is going to be up. I just wanted to point out that this is not a BS story. This is the real thing. All right? That's it. Update for April 10th, 2020. Hey, I do have a video. I will be doing a Bible study coming up, so be sure and look for that. It's going to probably be entitled The Prophecy. Now, the prophecy, a lot of people are thinking, end time prophecy. Well, this is a prophecy that most Christians probably have never heard of. Many have, I'm sure, but many have not, without a doubt. So stay tuned for that. Get a notification. Hopefully you click on, subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon. You'll be notified when these come in. I hope you do. And hope you tell other people about it, because that's the only way I'm going to know that our Heavenly Father is pleased with the work I'm doing here. So I'm trying to do this while I'm driving truck and all that, and keep everyone attuned to what's going on the road. By the way, the update on the road today was it's pretty mild. I finished doing a delivery, came on back. It was just light traffic, same old, same old. We do have that pork factory that was closed down in Sioux Falls. I haven't heard any news on that, whether it's going to open here in a couple days or not. Something to watch for, though. If it goes longer than that, they're going to be really struggling down there. A lot of people are sitting at home for that. So keep them in your prayers. Anyway, that's about it. Dave here, signing off. Talk to you later. Bye.